Welcome back, everybody! Last time we were guilty, and it sucked. But today, I think I figured out the inconsistency. I try to look pretty hard into the lanterns again, because I had a feeling there was something maybe off with that. And I think I might have found it, because if you look at that lantern, that is the rightmost lantern right there. I don't know if you guys can tell that or not, but that is the rightmost lantern we are currently looking at right this very moment. I will actually go literally right back to the very beginning, and I will show you everything, basically. So, this happens. He goes to the left one. He prays to that one. Now look at the right one specifically. Look at the right one. Look at the design of it. Look at it. Look at it. Look at it. You see how the right one looks? Now he goes and does that, and then he looks at it, he looks at it, and then he looks up, and then, oh, wait, hold on, look at the lantern now. Ooh, it looks a little bit different, doesn't it? Doesn't it? I don't know if you can notice that on first glance, because I sure as heck didn't, but that looks like, to me, that is probably what is going on here. So, as it appears, it looks like that is what we're going to be doing. That's so weird. But anyway, let's go ahead and present this. That should be it. Springside Lantern Site. Done. And that's it. That was the answer. What could this possibly mean? That lantern clearly contradicts the insight. But this contradiction will overturn the entire case I've been building. Are you alright, Mr. Wright? 1 minute you shout out, and in the next you'll fall silent. Perhaps it is like the bellow of the one who is barreling down a hill with no way of stopping. Is that not right, Prosecutor Sadmati? Don't get cold feet now, Phoenix. Even if this overturns the entire case you've built so far. The only way is to keep moving forward, because that's where we'll find the truth. Sorry, but I'm not barreling down a hill. In fact, I'm in full control of everything with the indisputable contradiction I found. Is that so? The lantern beside the accused clearly, no, blatantly contradicts your insights. Does it now? One of the lanterns on the entrance side of the inner sanctum was broken. And if you watch what a bot in me saw in this final moments, you will notice that the lantern behind the praying form of Miss Fey is broken. It's very subtle, for sure. The lantern behind Lady Kira, however, is still intact. In short, we are seeing two different lanterns in the Seance vision. How could this be? And even if it were so, how would that contradict my insights? Let me start by saying, the claim I'm about to raise will overturn the case I've built thus far. Will the defense please explain himself? Based on the broken lantern, we can tell excuse me. Maya and Apotami's positions. The lantern positions. I mean, aren't these technically both the right answer? The lantern positions? Correct position of the lanterns! Okay, I guess that wasn't the answer. But do you not just explain that yourself? Oh, did I? The defense will own up to its own statements. I'd better stop filling his Magistry's anger meter. Well, that was just dumb. Oh well, the fact that there was a broken lantern does not change anything. I beg to differ, Your Majesty. There is one thing it makes clear. And that is where the accused and victim were standing. But did you not just finish asserting that the accused was standing somewhere else? I did, and I built my argument on that faulty premise. But thankfully, it has led us here. To the actual spot where Maya Fey was standing. Whoa. I must say, if the defense keeps changing its assertions in such a capricious manner, its credibility may come into question. I'm willing to take that risk, Your Majesty, because I believe this will be the last time. I'd like to start by pointing out the actual spot where the accused was standing. Very well. Show us where you now believe the accused was actually standing. Based on the location of the broken lantern, where was Maya really standing? Based on the broken lantern, it was over here? I wasn't thinking straight before, but now it's all falling into place. We know the victim had stepped into the spring. That means Maya Fey had to have been standing in the water as he approached. However, his memory, which has only now become clear, reveals that Miss Fey was standing by the side of the broken lantern. In other words, she was standing where she was supposed to be according to custom. Hold it. Does that not bring us back to the very beginning? No. This is where things take a different turn, and I mean that literally. The victim had to have been moving towards the spring. That means that while he was moving, he had his back turned towards the accused. What's this? Do you mean to say the victim turned around during the rite? Such an image appears nowhere in the Séance vision. Actually, it does appear. Just that no one noticed until now. No one noticed? How could no one have noticed something so big? There was a moment when the scripture the victim was holding was all we could see. Thanks to that, none of us could tell that he was in fact turning around in that moment. Objection! If it is as a defense asserts, then her benevolence insights no longer make sense. How do you intend to explain that? Objection! I don't need to explain anything, because it's just as you said, Prosecutor Saad Madhi. Her benevolence's insights don't make any sense because they contain a huge error. Such insolence. Whoa. A huge error, you say? Do explain. The huge error is the order of the rites. Excuse me. The crime scene? The number of people there? I believe this is what happened at the scene of the crime. The victim was reading a sutra when suddenly he sensed someone behind him. He immediately looked back to see if someone dressed as Lady Kira was standing there. Wishing to see who it was, he approached the robed figure. That's when he was stabbed. This cannot be. Oh, but it can. And it is! The insight stating the accused stabbed the victim is wrong. And that is the real truth lying behind this testimony of the dead. Polkunka! Oh no! Are you suggesting that there was someone else at the scene of the crime? Have I misunderstood the voice of the Mirma yet again? This cannot be. Faint. Rip. Felt like she hit the ground way too slowly. Phew, that was a close one. I managed to divine the true meaning behind the Séance vision somehow. Got these new facts of the court record. Inner Sanctum diagram updated in the court record. Uh-huh. Your benevolence, please allow me to take it from here. I will overturn the brash accusations of this faithless, putrid-minded lawyer. Yes, I shall place my trust in you. And she gone. Well, she seems to have been wrong yet again. What a surprise. Are you sure about this, Prosecutor Saad Madhi? My work as an international prosecutor has taken me to courtrooms around the world. And in that time I have learned to perform last rites for souls in trials lacking a seance. Yes, of course, forgive my ludicrous inquiry. Moreover, I have with me a forensic investigator from overseas. I will show you all the most magnificent last rites ever seen. Guess he really does think highly of Emma and her forensic expertise. Impressed that he's come to understand their value. Then again, he is an international prosecutor who's solved tough cases around the world. Time to hunker down, huh? Now then, let us continue with today's proceedings. Could the defense please tell us who the third party dressed as Lady Kira was? Your new claim has negated the insights of the royal priestess. So I trust you have some evidence to support us, correct? Yes, of course. This third party must have really wanted to kill the high priest. I might be able to identify who it was if I had evidence of the murderous intent. Well, we're waiting, Mr. Wright. The evidence that can reveal the identity of the third party is this. Doesn't really say anything, does it? Maybe this. It appears to be related here to the high priest. There are holes and rows of all three over it. So maybe this? Take that! Yeah, let's do it. 3 days before the purification rite. The victim received a warning letter from an unidentified individual. He did? Whoever sent it clearly meant to threaten the high priest. The letter said, do not perform the rite. But the rite went on as scheduled. I believe that is why the high priest was murdered. Who do you suppose sent that letter? Person wants something to hide. Rebel hunter disguised as Lady Kira herself. Ooh. That's a big whoa. Peace! I don't understand. I had heard that Lady Kira has been in the news of lately only hunted rebels. If so, why would she have killed the high priest? Excellent question. Maybe it would help to think of it this way. What if the high priest had secretly been a rebel? The high priest! He couldn't possibly have been a rebel! The high priest, a devout follower of Khura'inism, a rebel? Do you even comprehend the blasphemy of which you speak? Well, do you? Does the blasphemy matter? I mean, if I lose this case, I'm done anyway. Might as well make whatever claim you gotta make, you know? I too found it hard to believe at first. But as I continued my investigation, it started to become more and more plausible. And the third party was the rebel hunting Lady Kira, and the high priest was a rebel. Your mockery of Khura'inism, no. Of the Kingdom of Khura'in itself knows no bounds. Whoops. That shameless pole-coonkin' lawyer! He's making a mockery of our religion! As a faithful Khura'inist, I take issue with these claims. And I am loath to admit them into today's proceedings. I don't like where this is going. The defense's claims are but vile blasphemy tantamount to spitting on the Holy Mother. Is it really that big of a deal, Maya? Abbot in me was a distinguished monk. And very well respected too, so yeah. Please don't let this turn into an international incident. Fear not, good people of Khura'in. The rantings of this putrid-brained lawyer who seeks to sully the soul of the deceased shall come to no avail once I conclude these last rites. Slap. I like how the music stops right there. The prosecution's assertion that the accused killed the victim remains unchanged. But the victim was stabbed in his abdomen. How is that possible when he has his back turned towards Miss Fey? Someone else must have killed him. I mean, Phoenix does raise a good point there. Are you sure about that? You may have invalidated the seance, but do not let it go to your putrid head. The karmic flow of this trial is, as yet, still in my hands. How can he be so confident? Something has occurred to me, you see. And your allegations of a third party are but a deluded fantasy. And I shall prove that by calling a new witness to the stand. An eyewitness who will deliver a definitive answer that will dispel the defense's doubts. An eyewitness? Very well, let us call this eyewitness to the stand. Crazy dude? Crazy dude? It's Crazy Dude! Let's go! It's him again. Well now, he has to be the shaggiest witness I have ever laid eyes upon. Please state your name and occupation. Oh, you know, that's so-and-so, whatchamacallit. This guy's still suspicious to me, honestly, though. Annum and Ihmus TBD, least that's what they've been calling me. TBD isn't to be determined? What the frick? Can't you just tell us your real name? Okay, they didn't mention anything about a letter? I mean, I don't know. Or do they? Yeah, they don't mention any details about stuff that would, like, give it away immediately. I mean, it wouldn't shock me at all if this was the escaped prisoner, but I mean, like, who really knows? Anonymous to be determined. Oh. Okay, that's kind of weird. The witness has suffered a blow to the head, rendering him an amnesiac. Therefore, I named him Anonymous TBD in my report, but he thinks TBD is part of his name. Objection! You're letting an amnesiac testify? Have no fear, I've already questioned him at length. While it is true that he has utterly forgotten his name and past, his memory of what he witnessed is still very much intact. Uh-huh. Considering the dearth of information, any new knowledge may be of help. Therefore, I will permit his testimony. Now, Mr. Ihmus, please tell us what you saw. Okay, I guess we'll see how this goes. Ooh. Witness testimony. The night of the murder. Excuse me. That night I was up at the top of the Mount Pony, the mountain next to the inner sanctum. Hate crowds, so I climbed up there to pray in peace. Hold on. Now, Mount Pony is lower elevation, so I mean, if you're about to say you saw it from the Mount Pony, then you're a freaking idiot. I'm just gonna say that right now. Hey crowds, I climbed up there to pray in peace. I know it's no-no, but since there was no one around, used my binoculars to spy on the right at the inner sanctum. How did you do that? That's when I saw the accused stab the high priest with a dagger. Uh-huh. There's no way you saw Miss Fey stab the victim with a dagger. It'd be funny if you just, like, immediately just pointed it out for me. It's like, yeah, that's so obviously wrong. It's just not even worth questioning at this point. I swear I don't know what he's talking about, or don't remember at any rate. Mount Pony, the beautiful mountain that is also known as the Little Sanctum. They must be talking about that smaller mountain from the poster. Yeah, we're literally just pointing it out right now. We are pointing it out right now. Mr. Ihmus, I was wondering. What can I do for ya? The inner sanctum lies at a high elevation where clouds and fog can obscure the view. Are you sure you were able to see what happened from the mountaintop next to it? Good point. His Majesty raised an excellent question. Well, Mr. Ihmus? On the day of the raid, there wasn't a cloud in the sky. Had a perfect view. If you don't believe me, check the weather forecast in the paper that day. Nick, don't we have the newspaper for that day? Yeah, but I mean, like, what's your point, though? It's still a lower elevation. How can you see? There was a screen! There's so many things contradicting it, man. It's ridiculous. Thick white ice that froze the ground from intersecting with the plaza of devotion is melted. We're gonna go on his plan. We give thanks to the blessing. Figured it appeared 2 days. Some town elders see her as Lady Kira in the flesh. In terms of feeling that. What? But nothing says anything about the weather, though. Literally says nothing about the thing. It just says that the ice melted or something. That's all it says. But other than that, nothing. Nothing's mentioned about it, the weather. Let's take a look. I wasn't there before. The area around the inner sanctum will enjoy calm, clear skies today. The warmer temperatures will make for excellent prayer weather. Be warned, however, that we'll see a cold front moving overnight. Does say calm, clear skies, doesn't it? See, told you so. May 9th newspaper updated in the court record. So now it's there, but it wasn't there before. Well, it would appear the witnesses offer testimony worth hearing. Mr. Ihmus, I too have a question for you. Didn't he already question the witness? Well, that's what I'm here for, right? Shoot. How was the accused holding the dagger? Was she holding it underhanded, its blade protruding from the bottom of her hand? Yep, I believe she was. It's called a reverse grip. I thought as much. Hold it! Hold it right there! What bearing does that have on this case? Good question, as always. Cease your interruptions, you putrid-headed lawyer. Do you not see the significance in how the blade was held? Why don't you enlighten me, O enlightened one? Oh, excuse me. I knew you were a fool. I can already picture you in the next life. Next life? Yes, after your soul rise for centuries in the pits of heck. You will be reborn as a witness sea urchin, with barbs limited to your posterior. You shall live a short, inconsequential life only to be brutally devoured by a sea otter. That was a bit excessive. I simply asked what the dagger grip had to do with the case. Now pay attention. How the accused held the dagger is of vital importance. With such information, we can infer exactly what action she took. He was saying that the victim was killed while he had his back to the accused. Is that correct? Yes. As such, the accused dagger grip tells us something very important. The accused approached the victim from behind, swung her arms around him, and plunged the dagger deep into his abdomen using a reverse grip. Okay, but explain the Lady Kira that was in front of him then. What?! Thus, Mr. Ihmus's testimony clears up any doubts that might remain. Ha ha ha! And it coincides with her benevolence's insights as well. This is a disaster. Thought I'd blown those insights out of the water, but now they're back to haunt me. Now then, the defense may cross-examine the witness. Cross-examination. The night of the murder. That night I was up at the top of Mount Pony, the mountain next to the inner sanctum. See, I still don't understand though. Doesn't exactly make a lot of sense, I feel, but I mean... I don't even know. I'm just gonna press you on everything, I guess. Are you sure you're not mistaken, Mr. Ihmus? Was it really Mount Pony that you climbed? Oh, I'm sure of it. It was really pony-ish mountain. What does that even mean? You know, now that I think about it, it was a mighty fine view. Hey, crowd, so I climbed over to pray in peace. You hate crowds, why bother climbing to the top? Couldn't you just as easily pray at the bottom of Mount Pony Pony? Wrong, bucko. This is a once-a-year epic event. Is that so? I want to pray as close to the actual thing as possible. You're so gung-ho about it. Why didn't you go pray at the Plaza Devotion? Like I said, I hate crowds. I want to pray in peace. Oh, holy mother. Why do I only get the annoying ones? And my burning fate demanded that I climb up the mountain closest to the inner sanctum. Also, I know it's a no-no, but since there was no one around, nobody was around, there's nobody who can corroborate your actions either. Hee-ho, you're exactly right. In that case, Mr. Ihmus, let me ask you this. Was there a reason you didn't want to be seen? About that. If you get caught climbing the surrounding mountains on the day of the rite, you can get in big, big trouble. You just admitted to something that you can get in big, big trouble for, though. Ha 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 ha! That's it? Yeah, it's totally embarrassing getting yelled at when you're a grown-up. Ha 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 ha! You're a real grown-up, alright. Since nobody was around, I lost all inhibition, and I used my binoculars to spy right at the inner sanctum. You got a pair of binoculars with you? That's pretty convenient. You weren't planning to spy on the right all along, were you? Actually, I just happened to have them for bird watching. Bird watching, huh? I see. You're not going to keep pressing him on this. Sketchy as heck. I don't really have anything I can really sink my teeth into yet. Oh, okay then. Ha 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 ha! I love the great outdoors. That's just the kind of guy I am. Guy called Anonymous TBD. He's really starting to get on my nerves. As I looked through my binoculars, I couldn't believe what was unfolding before me. That's when I saw the accused stab the high priest with a dagger. Did you really see what you say you did? Are you saying I'm lying about this? Well, I'm not. It's etched permanently in this old noggin. But I didn't do what you say I did. I didn't even get a chance to touch the dagger on the day of the rite. What do I know of that? All I know is that what I saw. Never even seen you before in my life. Possible reason could I have to lie? Because you're the one who did and you want to frame her. Erg. Didn't expect there to be any witnesses way up there. But I don't remember doing that at all. I know, I have a feeling the witness is lying. Must be an inconsistency somewhere in his testimony. Take another look at the court record. I mean, what else is there to really present to other than... I mean, can I present to either of these? Though, if they're not going to argue the height thing, then, I mean, this would make more sense. I mean, I do think this would make sense too, but I don't even think... It sounds like they don't want us to argue that point, which doesn't make sense, but I mean... This curtain exists. Objection! Hello? Hello? Why is that wrong? How did he see it with the freaking curtain up? Sorry, that scream just slipped out. I don't know about trials in your country, but we refrain from such rash outbursts here. This will deter any future urges you might have. I'm not helping my case in the judge's eyes, both literally and figuratively. This is stupid. Like, what the heck, man? Okay, then it was this one, then. I don't see why they both couldn't be right.
Objection!
I don't understand why they can't both be right. It's stupid, really. Your Majesty, I had my doubts about this bushy, bearded witness, but now I know we can't trust him. What? You ain't just judging me solely on my bodacious beard, are you? Not at all, Mr. Ihmus. It's much more than your sketchy appearance. It's your sketchy testimony. His testimony, you say? Yes, recall the inner sanctum was that day. Specifically that it was completely enclosed by the ritual curtain. Why, yes, I believe you're right. Curtain would have completely blocked the witness's view from Mount Pony Pony. Therefore, he couldn't possibly have seen the murder happen. Hoo-ha! Mr. Ihmus, have you been knowingly making false statements to this court? Aye, you got me! The witness would lower his voice. I didn't actually see the accused herself. You didn't actually see the accused herself? What's that supposed to mean? Let me set the record straight, I beg you. Uh-huh. It's gonna go immediately into another testimony? Okay. Witness testimony. Usually it's not that quick to get to the next testimony. The night of the murder, amended. I saw the shadowy silhouettes projected against the ritual curtain. Figures were created by the light of the full moon on the clear and still night. She was just a shadow, but I could tell it was the accused reverse gripping that dagger. What? Shadows, that's what you saw? That's right. I could see what was going on by the shadows projected onto the ritual curtain. In the future, Mr. Ihmus, I would rather you offer up accurate testimony from the start. Forgive me, my main man, Mr. Magistrate. Chalk it up to my fuzzy memory. Though we saw but shadows, it is still valuable testimony. You have to be kidding me. What are we gonna do now, Nick? All I can think of is look for inconsistency between the actual Wright and what Mr. Ihmus says for now. No, then the defense may cross-examine the witness once more. Might as well. Witness testimony, cross-examination edition. The night of the murder amended. Saw the shadowy silhouettes projected onto the ritual curtain. Time to save the game. That was another BS strike, I'm just saying. Good lord. Come on, man.
Hold it.
Oh, excuse me. So what you saw were simply shadows? That's right. Shadow figures on the bright white curtain. I showed through as plain as day. I could see everything that happened. Miss Fey and Bot and me were at the top of a mountain late at night. The only light up there was coming from 4 small lanterns. How could the shadows have been projected that clearly onto the curtain? No wonder people harp on you lawyers. You're always so dang skeptical. Lanterns weren't the only sources of light, you know? Yes, it was full moonlight. It was created by the light of the full moon on that clear and still night. Claimed to have seen shadowy figures that were projected on the ritual curtain. Did you really see them, Mr. Ihmus? Of course I did. Bright moonlight projected them onto the curtain, clear as day. It's like watching a scene out of a horror movie from the front row of Mount Pony Pony. Guess the moon does shine a bit brighter when you're all the way up there. Why, do you recall how bright the moon was that night? I remember there weren't any clouds, and that moon was definitely out. I don't remember if it could cast any shadows. Okay, thanks. Can't deny the moon was really bright. It's possible that it was bright enough to cause shadows to appear. Ha 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 ha! I remember just like it happened. Uh-huh, a likely story. Oh, he was a shadow, but I could tell it was the accused reverse gripping that dagger.
Hold it.
Hang on. How do you know it was Miss Fey if all you saw were shadows? It was a little bun on top of her head. Can you see her face? Distinctive bobs a dead giveaway. Never underestimate my keen sense of observation. Oh, now that's one funny haircut. It's not nice to make fun of a girl's hairstyle. I like my hair this way. Besides, you're one to talk, you Sasquatch. And this wild, manly look I'm sporting shows what you know, little girl. Ha ha ha. Nick! Isn't there some kind of crime you can charge him with? I'm afraid it doesn't work that way. Now he claims he only saw shadows. Whew. This testimony is sketchy written all over it. Then there must be an inconsistency in there somewhere. Yep. Was he really watching everything from Mount Pony Pony? So then I should see how his testimony lines up with the conditions of Wright. Wait. So... was it really only 3? That was pretty short. Oops. I didn't even do that, actually. Blah, 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 blah. Gotta fast forward through it now. Okay, so what are the inconsistencies here? Shadowy silhouettes projected against the ritual curtain. Figures were created by the light of the full moon on the clear and still night. She was just shadowed, but I could tell the accused reverse gripping that dagger. I feel like this would be something to maybe challenge, if anything. We just gotta check up on how things are gonna be. Now, is that Mount Pony Pony? Okay, the Pure Figuring Rite is a 3-part ceremony held when the moon is directly over the summit of Mount Pony Pony. Yeah, so he can't do that then.
Objection!
Exactly. You saw silhouettes projected by the moonlight. Sorry, but it's just not possible. What do you mean? How is it not possible that it was totally possible? That's impossible. I think I'm going to need a logically in translation on that. Let's take a look at the Wright's guide, shall we, Mr. Ihmus? The rite is held when the moon is directly over the summit of Mount Pony Pony. Doot doot doot. So the moon was shining from the west. Any shadows would have been cast eastward. Mr. Ihmus was standing to the west of the inner sanctum on Mount Pony Pony. Oh, holy mother. That's right. Our witness here couldn't have seen any shadowy figures on that curtain. No way! Perhaps it was the sacred flames or the lanterns that cast the shadows he saw. I'm afraid not. I inspected them during my investigation, but flames were too small to cast the crisp, distinct figures Mr. Ihmus claims to have seen. But I did see those silhouettes, really? But how could he, Nick? Maybe it was someplace where they were visible. Wait, don't tell me. Your Majesty, Mr. Ihmus really did see those shadows. It brings a brand new fact to light. And that would be... brand new fact that comes to light. If Mr. Ihmus really did see those shadows, he didn't see the murder. He was somewhere else. He wasn't where he claimed to be at the time of the murder. Dude. Oh, then where do you propose the witness was? Someplace where you could have seen the shadowy figures, naturally. Wait, you mean... none of the mountains east of the inner sanctum are close enough for a good view. There's only one place he could have clearly seen the shadows from. And where might that be? So where Mr. Ihmus was at the time of the murder. Plaza Devotion, High Priest's home, the inner sanctum. Getting right to the point. Just gonna accuse him as the murderer, I guess. Mr. Ihmus was at the inner sanctum, just outside the curtain on the east side. Wait, just outside? I was gonna say he was inside, but okay. That's the only place from which he could have seen the shadowy figures. Hoo-ha! Nah! Really? Wow, I didn't even think of that. It wasn't inner sanctum off limits to all but the victim and the accused. Third party who was there, you mean? Get the feeling it's a subject Prosecutor Saad Madhi would rather not touch right now. Dot 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 dot. Oh, you mean? That's right, this witness was at the scene of the crime. Which means he is the mysterious third party we saw during the Divination Séance. He could be the one who dressed as Lady Kira and killed the High Priest. Googie! What?
Objection.
No one but the two participants were allowed anywhere near the inner sanctum. And the only way up there are the stairs that start down at the Plaza Devotion. So tell me, how do you propose the witness enter the sacred space? Oh, he must have, I haven't thought that far ahead. The sanctuary has sheer cliffs on 3 sides and a steep towering rock face on the other. No one could have made it there by climbing the faces of those cliffs. His Majesty speaks truth. Or speaks true? To say Mr. Ihmus was at such an inaccessible location is but a bid to tarnish his credibility. Is that not right? Right, I wasn't at the inner sanctum, no sir, no how. At least I'm pretty sure I wasn't.
Holding.
Then what about those silhouettes you claim to have seen? Starting to think I've been imagining things. What? This is insane! Well, I knew we couldn't trust that lawyer! He's trying to frame the witness even though he's presenting really good arguments! Peace, peace, I say! This is impossible. Unless I can show how he got to the inner sanctum. This looks like I'm trying to slander Mr. Ihmus. I believe in you, Nick. Rah rah, sis boom bah, fight fight, Phoenix Wright. Just look at the accused! Has she no shame? What's your problem, lady? Phoenix Wright is very trustworthy, I'll have you know. She's got some nerve for a criminal! I bet that lawyer poisoned her mind! Please, Maya, you're only making it worse. Appreciate the vote of confidence, but it's probably best to keep it to yourself for now. I would advise the defense to think carefully before making any more sudden outburst. Yes, your Majesty. Wasn't the bad guy before, I definitely am now. Now, Mr. Ihmus, I would like you to think back carefully before you testify next about where you were that night. Think very, very carefully. Next testimony. Witness testimony. I wasn't at the inner sanctum. Excuse me. I was never at the inner sanctum, I tell you. That much I'm sure of, even with the fuzzy memory. Besides, it would have been impossible to get there in the first place. Boy, you lawyers sure are scary. Guess it might have been impossible for him to get to the inner sanctum like he claims, but... Now you would assist in trying to frame this innocent witness. Yeah, I'd like to see you explain how he got up there! Mr. Wright, is it not time to end these cross-examinations? Never. A moment of desperation leads to 100 million years of torment. It means that for each moment a sinner spends struggling to deny their sins, 100 million years of torment are added to their time in heck. That's a lot of 100 million years, I guess. Khura'inism is the strictest religion ever. And just so you know, you've already occurred 200 million extra years. Plus the 500 million years they started with, that's 700 million years! 700 million years... What torment! Sure, what's another 200 million, give or take? Well, it's a big deal to me. Can't keep saying that the witness was there at the inner sanctum. If I can't prove it, problem is how I'm going to do that. How indeed will you prove it? Cross-examination. I wasn't at the inner sanctum. I was nervous in your sanctum, I tell you. That much I'm sure of, even with the fuzzy memory. Oops, wait. I forgot I need to press him not to do that. And I also need to save the game, too, because, yes. I mean, if you can believe it, actually, everyone. It is basically time to end today's episode. So, yeah, that wasn't too bad. I mean, we got that one BS strike, but other than that, I mean, well, technically that one was kind of a little BS too, honestly, because both of those weren't wrong. It's just, I seem to be misinterpreting what they wanted me to say, I guess. But anyway, doesn't really matter. But either way, we got through that seance, which was pretty difficult, actually. I mean, believe it or not, when I didn't really take much time to think about it after the episode ended last time. I just kind of stopped playing, booted it back up, looked at it for like literally maybe a minute or two, and then I was like, oh, I see. So yeah, basically immediately that moment I realized that I didn't even trial and error it off screen or anything. I didn't really have any intention of doing that. I kind of wanted to be like, just really get into it, kind of see what was wrong, and I was able to see what was wrong. So thankfully it didn't take too long. And thankfully what I saw wasn't wrong either, because that would have been bad. And then what do you do? I don't know at that point. But either way, we're going to cross-examine this guy some more on the next episode. So until then, everyone, I shall see you all later. Let me know what you think about him. He seems pretty guilty. I feel like he's probably the escaped prisoner, most likely. But, I mean, who knows? Who knows? We'll find out. Anyway, everyone, see you later. Have a good one. Bye-bye! Hello, everyone. You've reached the end of this video. But before we go for the day, I'd just like to give a quick shout-out to the Tier 4 and 5 channel members. Phoenix Edgeworth, Acheron X2, Menthy, and Meister Papala. Thank you all for being awesome and supporting the channel. If you too would like to also get your name shouted out at the end of each video and live stream, shoutouts are available for all Tier 4 and 5 channel members. I hope you all have an awesome day. I'll see you all later.